Hi everyone, and welcome to this interview with Tina at this beautiful space between. I'm going to hand over to her and we're going to start the interview.
And welcome, Eve.
Thank you.
Okay, so thanks for having me here and inviting me. And my first question is, what drew you to aerial yoga? How did it start? How did your journey start?
Yes, so it started when I was pregnant and I saw a magazine article about aerial yoga, and it was a South African magazine. I didn't know it existed before that. And I was really excited, but as a pregnant woman, you can't practice aerial yoga as a beginner. So I had to wait patiently until I gave birth to my daughter a year later. And then on holiday, I had the opportunity to attend 2 aerial yoga classes. And I just fell in love with it. It was different. I could see the difference, but I could also see the potential for how it could add on to my existing yoga classes. It was like the missing link in my teaching. So after that, I discovered there was a training in Joburg, and I went to that training, and that was I qualified in 2017. So it was definitely life-changing for me in terms of where it took my yoga teaching and my own practice.
Wow, Eve, that's amazing. I mean, you're basically teaching now almost 10 years. Amazing. What is the difference between aerial yoga and other yoga practices? Can you explain a little bit about that?
So the aerial yoga hammock is like a prop, like we use a block or a blanket or a strap. It's just like that, except much, much more versatile. You can use it for so many things, and you can support your body in many, many different ways. And really what it allows us to do is spend quite a long time in inversions, whereas in normal yoga you might just do a handstand for a few seconds. In aerial yoga you can hold inversions for much longer. There's many different inversions, and there's also tricks and flips, but that comes later. So as a beginner you might learn a few flips, but then you'd follow your interest. If you're someone who's interested in doing tricks, you can learn more. But otherwise it is yoga, the roots are in yoga, and you're practicing the yoga poses but with a kind of assistance. There is an influence of Pilates and fitness training and aerial arts. So that makes it a little bit different. And that's really what I loved about it, because it added something onto my yoga that I didn't have before.
So who is this training for? And do I need to have yoga experience, or do I need to be a teacher, or can you tell a little bit about that?
So yoga experience, I would say, is important. You do need to know what yoga is. You ideally have had to do a bit of yoga first. But having said that, I do have aerial yoga students who don't practice, or they come to aerial having never done yoga. And maybe they've done another form of exercise, like Pilates or like some kind of fitness training or even dance, and they actually do fine. So there's maybe an interest in yoga, a willingness to learn. Ideally, you need to have done a few yoga classes.
So what are the biggest benefits for aerial yoga? If you look on the physical side or emotional or mentally, what would you say?
Physically, there's a ton of benefits. Like I just mentioned, it allows you to practice all different kinds of inversions. So you benefit from going upside down. The main benefits are improving circulation. We can boost our immune system by moving the lymph from the abdomen to the upper body. We can actually sometimes lower blood pressure because of the effects on the heart. We can support ourselves balancing. So we can get stronger at balancing because we're using something that's moving around instead of a wall. There's actually so many physical benefits that I'll go on and on if I say them all. Mental and emotional. Mentally, what I see a lot with students is having to learn sequences sometimes. There's a bit of left and right So it's coordination. My own coordination has improved a lot from doing aerial yoga, not being the most coordinated person. And I find memory as well, because it's constantly getting you to remember movements, sequences, order of things. So I think it's great for the brain in that way. Emotionally, there's this feeling of being held and supported. I often find students can relax much more than in any other form of yoga, and there's often an emotional release. So whatever needs to come out, comes out, especially in the safety of the cocoon when we rest in Shavasana inside the hammock, lying with the whole body enclosed.
Thank you, Eve. What does this training include?
So I'm actually going to read this because there's a whole lot of it, and you can find it all in the description on the Space Between Events page if you want to look at it again. But we basically learn how to set up and rig the hammock. So you set up your studio for putting up hammocks, how to knot your hammock. So that's the preparatory part, how to help students set the hammock to the correct height for them. Then we'll learn the anatomy and physiology of the different poses. We'll learn about the risk side of it, so the possible side effects, which people can or cannot do aerial yoga. You will learn how to teach safely, support students to practice safely. You'll also learn the whole sequence of poses, so where we move the fabric to different places. Sometimes it's on the hand, sometimes on the foot, sometimes on the hips or the ribs. And you will learn all those placements and all the different poses that are practiced in those different placements in detail, and that's all in the manual. What else? Yes, so we'll do some warm-ups and drills, how to prepare your body for it. You'll also learn You'll learn a low hammock class, which is slightly different. We're setting the hammock below the knee. Generally, it's restorative and very gentle. It's a very different feeling to the normal aerial yoga. And it also can be used for practicing tricks at a more safe height. So there's a lot packed into these 9 days. And there's more that I haven't even mentioned, but it's quite extensive and in detail. And what the idea is that I want to equip people to feel confident to teach.
You just mentioned this training is about 9 days. Do you want to give a little bit more ideas what you do over these 9 days?
So yes, those things that I outlined will be spread over the 9 days. We'll be doing some practical, so a lot of practical, learning how to do things, but we'll also learn the theory behind it. So we need to understand some of the anatomy behind aerial yoga. We need to understand the benefits of the poses, and also give students time to ask questions and to just play around a little bit. So we will be here usually most of the day from around 10 o'clock till about 5 o'clock, and we'll have a lunch as well, so there's a nice long lunch break included. So we feel relaxed, they can enjoy being in this beautiful setting, and there's some free time before and after, so they can also enjoy being in Plet for the people that are not from here.
And then after this training, do they get a kind of qualification, or and if yes, what type of qualification will they get?
So the qualification is from Yoga Alliance, which is widely recognized around the world. It is actually an add-on. So if you are already a yoga teacher, you can add it on to your existing 200-hour or higher qualification. If you're not a yoga teacher, but you're very drawn to aerial yoga, I would welcome Pilates teachers, I'll welcome dance teachers, I'll welcome most other modalities as long as you are a teacher. If you want to teach, you need to be a teacher. If you don't necessarily want to teach, you can also do this to support your own practice. And I do have a couple of students who are doing that. They just want to learn aerial yoga in depth so they can practice at home safely.
And is this teacher training accredited or recognized in any way?
So the Yoga Alliance certificate is recognized. It's recognized internationally, and it will allow you to teach around the world.
Thank you, Eve. And A more practical question. Do I need to bring my own hammock to be part of the teacher training or any other props? What is this about?
No, you don't. We've got all the props here, and I will bring all the necessary props to the course. You don't even have to have a hammock. So if you're starting and you haven't bought a hammock yet, it's fine. You can come and learn everything here and then buy it afterwards. That's exactly what I did when I did my training. I only purchased my hammock afterwards, and it was fine. Having a good yoga background really helped me.
And I would assume you will guide people where to buy the hammocks and how to find them in the web or wherever you do that, right? What is the biggest fear when people are coming to do an aerial class? Could you talk about that?
Yes, so many people out there have a fear of going upside down. And I think all yoga teachers will know that if you've ever taught inversions. It's, as a children we go upside down a lot, but as adults sometimes we stop doing that and it becomes frightening. So I often find that students come and need to be supported to go upside down. They need to be assisted, or they just need the choice to not do it until they're ready. And that's what I'll be teaching, how to support people to go upside down safely or not, and how to, because just on a side note, if people can't go upside down, they can still do aerial yoga. So you can do a whole beautiful class for somebody and they don't go upside down at all. That is sometimes how some of my students that have worked with me for years, they did that. They didn't go upside down for really long because they were scared. And then eventually they overcame that fear and now are doing lots of different things. So yes, I would say that's the main fear.
And what makes this aerial yoga teacher training unique?
So first of all, the place. I mean, this place is just amazing. We've got such a beautiful day here today. And whether it's beautiful, whether it's raining or stormy, it's just magical being here because you feel far away from everything, even though we're actually very close to Plettenberg Bay. So the place, the setting is amazing. We'll have the space to ourselves, and it's been designed for aerial yoga. So it's got very strong beams. It's got a really amazing setup for practicing aerial yoga. When we set it up, I already had the dream of teaching a training because it's just the perfect location for it. So that's one of the reasons why it's unique. The other reason is that it's quite a long training. So many of the other trainings you find, and they tend to be cheaper trainings, they are much shorter. There's a lot squashed into a short time. My own training that I attended was about, I think, 4 to 5 days, and it was quite extensive. But I did feel if I ever did my own training, there's things that I want to add because I'm very interested in anatomy. I've got other interests that I want to share. So I've put those things in as well. And also from what I've seen from teaching a lot, there's certain things that it really helps to know if you're a teacher because you don't then go through the things that I went through where I was trying to support people and stop them falling out and all of this, and now I know I can warn the students, these poses are risky, don't teach them to beginners. There's a whole lot of things that I always take into account when I'm teaching to make sure that the space is safe for everybody. So that's also included. Another thing is I met a teacher recently I think she was from somewhere like Pretoria, and she had done a short course. She was a dance teacher, but she said to me, I really don't feel confident to teach. I just don't. And I thought, well, if I ever do a training, I don't want someone to come out and feel that. If they're already a teacher, I want them to feel, yes, I'm confident, I can do this. So that's why I've created a longer training.
And I would like to mention here, but maybe you following Eve already through social media or other platforms. She is a very experienced yoga teacher and aerial yoga teacher. So you're really in good hands. So if someone felt called to the teacher training, but it's still a little bit unsure or insecure, what would you say to them? How do you support them? And where can they book?
So I would say just go for it. If you've done aerial yoga, if you've never done it, you need to try it first because it's not for everybody. So try it if you love it and you know you want to train, maybe just for your own practice, maybe to teach. I recommend that you dive in and join my course. You can book on the Space Between website. The course is on the 17th of April, so you've got a bit of time if you decide at the last minute to join. It's on the 17th of April for 9 days, and you will book on the Space Between website or the Fit app under the events category. But I can also add a link to this, and if you look on my Instagram page, right near the top you will see an ad where it gives you details. So I hope some of you might feel inspired to join, if not this year, maybe next year.
Thank you, Eve, to clear up all the questions they are still in the ether. And I think it was really wonderful and very informative. So thank you very much. Thanks.
Thanks, Tina. Thank you, everyone, for joining.